You're listening to the Game Tenants Podcast.
What's up, and welcome to the Game Tenants Podcast, the failed adventures of two gamers and their quest for Gamecast stardom.
AKA worthlessly lazy, but so game crazy.
This is episode 90, and I am Church of the Game Grinder, and as always joined by my excellent co-host, Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming. What up?
I don't know, what is it? It's been a while, buddy.
Yeah, one week delay because we like our metal. And we went to the same tour 2 nights in a row. He went to the
different nights.
Yeah. Different nights, yeah. You went to the Tuesday show. I went to the Wednesday show. Of course.
I tried to fix it so we could still podcast, but you weren't biting. You weren't up for a 9-hour drive, whatever.
Yeah, because Jason obviously lives in Canada, so he went to the Thunder Bay show.
Yeah.
And I went to the Minneapolis show. It was a pretty good show.
Yeah, it was Soulfly with Toxic Holocaust.
Yeah, and then everything else was different.
Products. Yeah. I opted to go to the Thunder Bay show because a semi-local band, local to Thunder Bay, a band called VHS that I really like, was playing that show. So I said, that's even more reason to go. So I pretty much went just for VHS and Toxic Holocaust, but Soulfly was the icing on the cake, and it had been about, 16 years.
21 years for me since I saw Soulfly. I saw him in 99.
Shit.
First concert I paid for was Rammstein with Soulfly and Mindless Self-Indulgence.
I think the first time I seen them was when they were on the Slayer tour with In Flames.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, it was cool. I was much more into them back in the day, but I kind of fell out with them, like not in a bad way. I just kind of my tastes kind of changed, but that's the thing with Max Cavalera's music. It's always kind of changing too. And catching up before this show, I was kind of sad that I hadn't stuck with them because they had some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, less new metal-y, more metal.
Yeah.
Which I think it's hilarious that he still opens up with the first 2 songs off the first album, which is like songs that I could go my whole life without ever hearing again.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was a fun show. I went primarily for Toxic Holocaust. They were like a bucket list band for me, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love the old school thrash bands that aren't actually old school thrash bands. Like they play old school thrash.
Yeah.
But they're from like the 2000s.
Yeah.
Them and Municipal Waste are like brother bands.
Yeah, and I get to see Municipal Waste next month, or I can't remember. Within the next few months, I finally get to see them. They're coming on tour with Testament again. Well, not again. Testament is coming again. I saw Testament before. Didn't really know anything about Testament.
Yeah, honestly. I've seen them a couple times. They're okay. I'm not huge into them, but
some people give them think like the big 4. If anybody's heard that, it's usually referred to like Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. When there's people that say it should be Overkill, Testament, Slayer, and somebody else.
I mean, they're the big 4, so it's like the biggest bands. But
yeah.
I think one of the spots, at least on there, is really debatable. I hear a lot of people say that they'd swap Testament for Anthrax, and
yeah.
I think I'd take that. I'm not a huge Anthrax fan either.
Yeah. But anyways, this is a video game podcast. So I'm sure we should get back to video games before everyone tunes out.
Well, video games are fucking metal, so I thought that was a good bridge.
True that. So, what are we talking about this time?
Oh, plenty of video game stuff. Actually, there's a little bit of news for us, and a lot of stuff that I'm pretty happy is coming to fruition. Like these movies that we've been talking about on here are starting to actually come out on Netflix and stuff. Like Dragon Quest: Your Story, I watched last weekend, and I really enjoyed it. It seems to be kind of polarizing how people feel about it, but I, for one, enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more later.
Sweet.
But I guess before we get into our news topics, let's hit the retro game highlight. Last time I talked about Bushido Blade for the PlayStation 1, which is kind of an underrated classic at this point. Like, I never hear anybody talk about Bushido Blade. Yeah,
it's definitely like kind of lost in the shuffle these days.
For sure.
I mean, it's worthy of some praise for sure. And I don't know, there's nothing even really like it now. So it's not like it's, like the formula has been perfected kind of thing.
Right.
Like, it was just kind of. But this time I'm going with Alien Syndrome.
Ooh.
Which upon first glance will look like a direct ripoff of the Alien movies. It's kind of like a Smash TV type viewpoint game. It started as an arcade, obviously, but I've got it for the Sega Master System, and I love the hell out of it. It's so much fun. A lot of people even say it's like one of the best Alien games that's not actually an Alien game. I've seen that.
I'm pretty sure I've seen things on it, but I've never played the game, and I'm not like super familiar with it.
Yeah, like I said, it's a top-down, isometric. It kind of reminds me of Smash TV in a way, but you are basically, it's basically the story of an alien movie too in a game. Your friends are all captured, and you have to try and get them all back as this generic like space trooper person. And like the cover art is literally just looks like a kid with a Ghostbuster proton gun shooting a xenomorph. Like, it looks like a xenomorph even. Without the little inside mouth. That's about the only difference to it. But a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out, I definitely recommend checking it out any way you can. Obviously the arcade game is going to be probably the best port, but I really enjoy the Master System one as well. And
is it on any collections?
It might be. I've never really looked into it. I might even have it on a collection. I've got a lot of those. It's a Sega game. Maybe one of the Sega things, but I don't recall ever seeing it on any of those. Yeah, I guess I wish I had looked into that before. I don't even remember if it's on my arcade stick now that you mention it.
Oh, it looks like it is on the Sega Classics collection.
Sweet. So I do have it on there.
Classics collection. Yeah, I got that. Or did I? Maybe I didn't get that.
Yeah, that's the one that came out for the PS2 era, right?
Yes. I think. Yes. Oh, wow. GameSpot gave it a 3.2 out of 10.
Great. So the Sega collection?
Yeah.
Or Alien Syndrome?
The Sega Classics collection.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. It's like, unless the games run like very poorly.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah,
but
hey, I like it.
Options.
I mean, it's been a while since I've played a particular one, but I remembered liking it.
Sweet.
So yeah, Alien Syndrome, pretty cool game. If you like aliens, I recommend checking it out.
Sweet. So we're gonna try something a little different. A little format switch up here. Instead of talking about what we've been up to following the retro game highlight, we're going to talk about news topics and then do the community question. And then we'll talk about what we've been up to kind of get the things probably you're more interested in hearing about to you first, and then bring in the community question a little earlier. So maybe we get a little bit more participation with that.
Sounds good. Yeah, I slipped up a bit. I thought we were going right into the news and I forgot about the retro game highlight. So, yeah, first things first. Dragon Quest Year Story. I thought it was beautifully animated. And,
what is it?
It's a Netflix movie that is finally brought over from Japan. I believe it came out last year in Japan.
Yeah, I wouldn't say is it like a Netflix movie per se, but Netflix got the rights to it.
Yeah, Netflix exclusive in North America, as far as I know.
Yeah,
and it's basically the story of Dragon Quest V, and it's a little twist on the story to keep it fresh and interesting. And I thought it was great.
Yeah, agree. I think the animation was fantastic. I mean, it's like.
It was like better than in the games even.
Well, yeah, way better than like the modern cutscenes for like say like Dragon Quest 11. I mean, it's right up there with like your Pixar animation style or DreamWorks. Yeah. I think like really in that style, but of course with the Akira Toriyama art style, the Dragon Quest style.
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't hyper realistic, but it was about as close to realistic as that art style gets.
Like so I was kind of thrown off because they didn't do any adjustments for the animations for the English or the other languages. So I actually watched the movie in Japanese with subtitles, and like the mouths and everything like looked like, I mean, it's like perfect, like flawless. Like it looked like those people, the characters were saying what they were saying in Japanese. Like the animation was fantastic. But I will say, as a person who hasn't played Dragon Quest V, like for a good while, like I really felt like I had no idea what the hell was going on because it's like so abridged. Like if you're a fan of Dragon Quest V, like you should watch this. You will love it because it's gonna like hit on all those moments and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that was great. But as a person who hasn't played Dragon Quest V, like I really feel like I'm missing. I mean, obviously I am missing a lot, but I don't know. It seems like they made it with the intention of being purely for the fans of the game and less for the outside audience, because like the story beats like really like they like jumped abruptly, like big jumps sometimes in story. Like it's like, whoa, weren't they just going to the castle and now like, what is this, like years later and they're friends now or something? Like what?
it was a little jarring. I thought I was watching it with the kids and stuff, and I don't know, something little would happen. Like I'd go in the kitchen for a second, I come right back and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Did I miss 20 minutes of this?
What it really felt like is when you like start like an episode of a show and they do the recap. Yeah. Like it felt like for the first half an hour, I felt like I was just watching like a quick recap, but no, that's like the pacing of the movie, which is honestly my only complaint. But for me personally, it's not really much of a complaint just because everything else was so well done.
Yeah, I thought it was still pretty great. It was kind of a by the books story for that kind of.
I mean, it's Dragon Quest.
Yeah, it's a Dragon Quest. It definitely was living up. I have Dragon Quest V, but I don't have the DS one, which is the one I'd be able to understand. Mm-hmm. I have the actual.
You get a repro.
I have the Dragon Quest V, like Super Famicom version.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they got English translated repros.
Wait a minute. I might actually have a repro now that I think of it, because I've got repros of several. Yeah, I do have a repro. Ooh, just never played that.
You got?
Just never played that one.
Too many games.
Too many Dragon Quest games. I've got a lot. And
yeah, I like really
But
want to play Dragon Quest V now, like to get the whole story, and I kind of feel like when I play the game, like it's going to be less impactful because I saw how the story plays out, and the story is nuts. Like if I would have played this on the Super Nintendo, like back then, like my mind would have been blown like constantly throughout the story because like there's some pretty wild twists in the story.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was. I don't know. I think it was like if I felt like I wanted to go back and rewatch it for the little parts I missed. But yeah, because it was kind of jarring, feeling like, oh, what, when did that happen? Like I only missed a couple small segments, but yeah, felt like I just walked in the middle of the movie after a while, and I was like, oh. Okay.
And it's kind of interesting that they decided to go with 5. Like,
yeah,
why 5? Why not any of the others? And from my understanding, 5 is part of like there's big story arcs in some of the earlier Dragon Quest games, and I think it was 4, 5, and 6 were the like Zenithian trilogy or something from. I believe it was those. I think it's the first 3 and then those 3 and then all the others are unrelated until 11, which is related to 6 or something or 4.
Kind of all over the place.
Yeah,
they're more connected than like the Final Fantasy games. Like a Final Fantasy game, if you've never played a Final Fantasy game before, you can really jump in anywhere because aside from the ones that are obvious sequels to each other.
Yeah. And Dragon Quest is mostly like that too, but there's lots of like references that don't necessarily matter, but add a ton if you know.
Yeah, you don't want to exactly stop playing the game and oh shit, now I got to go play 4 because I'm in the middle of 5 and I didn't understand that reference. But it's you feel like you're missing a little bit because I've played the most Dragon Quest I've played is primarily on my DS and 3DS, but yeah, I've run into little parts here and there with that too.
Yeah, even I mentioned it to my dad. My dad actually watches a lot of the like animated or CGI video game based movies. Like he doesn't watch like anime or like other animated movies, but if it's video game related, for some reason he watches them even though he doesn't play the games. Like my dad does play some games. My dad mostly plays like retro RPGs and like I set him up with like emulators and whatnot, but I told him about this and he's like, okay, I'll check it out. And he checked it out and he liked it. He thought it felt very rushed as well, but he enjoyed it even. So yeah, I would definitely say it's, if you have any interest in Dragon Quest, I think it's worth watching. Maybe even if you don't have interest in Dragon Quest, maybe this will sell you on Dragon Quest.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to be pretty cool, but it was even better than I was expecting. So that's saying something.
For sure.
The kids liked it too. I watched it in English, or else I probably would have watched the subtitled version myself too. But it didn't bug me that much. Their mouths.
Yeah, I mean it's an animated movie, so
I've watched that kind of stuff before. So it's nothing. The kids didn't remark on it at all. So
they probably didn't even notice.
Yeah, they all were just glued to it, watching it, and then my son Saren was like, I was like, hey, so did you like the movie? And he goes, yeah, it was good. It was just kind of boring. But he like watched the whole thing.
It was kind of boring. Yeah, it's a lot of story.
I liked it. It was cool. It was just kind of boring. I'm like, you can tell me you don't like something. It's not like I was like, so what did you think?
I mean, they did technically cut out like all the gameplay to some regard. There are a few fight scenes, like action scenes, but for the most part, it's like
I think it would have been cooler as a series, honestly.
Yeah,
especially that's kind of Netflix's jam right now is,
but it's not
games into like series like.
But again, it's not a Netflix thing. It was made for the
Yeah.
Japanese audience by Japanese companies, and Netflix just
Right.
licensed it to view it here. But
Yeah,
it would be cool if they did adapt it into a series.
because they're doing a lot of video game stuff coming up because they're good at it. So I fully support them doing more.
Well, they're not good at it. They're just good at throwing money at the right projects.
Well, that's good at. I'd say that's good at it. It's not like they're personally making it,
But then they throw a lot of money at. I would say more Netflix originals are garbage than are worth watching.
well, as I said video game stuff. I didn't say anything about anything else.
They don't have much video game stuff.
I don't know. Castlevania, Witcher. What else is there? There's a couple other things that they got in the works that look really cool too. Like the Overwatch and Diablo things sound cool. They're working on.
Could be. Those could be pretty cool.
What I've seen on Resident Evil looks cool. So I don't know. I've got faith in them and the few things they have out so far, but they've got their hands in a lot of cool IPs as far as video game stuff. So
for sure.
At least they're trying. No one else is trying, so it's
right.
Cool to see someone trying and actually not failing super hard.
Yeah. And speaking of cool IPs, I'm going to use that as a transition. We got some more info on. I had previously talked about there's a Record of Lodoss War, a new Record of Lodoss War game being made by Team Ladybug, who I talked previously about Toho Luna Knights, which was a really cool Metroidvania, kind of shorter one, but with a lot of like character and style and just awesome pixel art. Well, anyways, that I talked about it before that studio is making a Record of Lodoss War game with what it looked like. Deedlit, who is one of the main characters, the elf character was going to be the main character. Well, they finally put out a full trailer. It's called Record of Lodoss War Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth, and it's actually going to early access on Steam March 13th, which I think is pretty rad. It's going to be hard for me to resist playing it early access, but I try not to play early access games like at all.
Because who knows if it ever even comes out a lot of the time.
Well, more that it could. I mean, if it's only like a little missing, then it's like hard to encourage me to like go back to it. Or if a game's like super broken, it gives you a bad impression.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't bother ever either.
I kind of get it because it helps with like funding to some extent.
Yeah, it's a good playable demo.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
Okay. Is it just going to be a PC game or?
I think for the time being it is, because I don't believe Toho Luna Knights is available on anything else either.
Oh,
yeah, which is unfortunate because actually Toho Luna Knights is available on the Switch. I'd imagine it's digitally on the Switch.
Yeah.
So I would recommend everybody to check that out. It's Toho is spelled Touhou, Luna Knights. It's sweet. It's really cool. I also talked about it in my games I beat in 2019 part 2 video. Yes.
Ooh.
So you can see a little preview of it or a review of it there too. But I am pretty excited for this because I love Record of Lodoss War. Funny enough, last couple months I've been like revisiting like all the Record of Lodoss War based animes. So it's kind of neat to be wrapping those up and then bam, got a new game that looks sweet finally coming out.
Yeah, I bought my wife the different box sets for Christmas, and slowly trucking through those.
Forgot to ask you about those because you bought basically 2 of the same box sets.
One has like some different stuff, but yeah. I didn't look too much into it, but yeah, it's whatever. They were both not very pricey, so
good stuff.
It was cool.
Some of the best.
Yeah, I wish we could get through it faster, but
well, the original series is amazing. The Chronicles of the Heroic Knight has some very, very serious issues, but I still enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we kind of have a lot of shows on the go, so
yeah, there's so much crap to watch right now. It's
honestly, when
ridiculous.
We get time, lately when the kids go to bed, we've been watching a lot of Tales from the Crypt.
Sure.
So, but that's one we could watch during the day is Lotus War. We just are never home at the same time. Like when we think of actually watching something together, it's usually like, oh yeah, I got to go to work now, and then come home for 2 hours before I go to work. Or like on the weekends and crap. And so, yeah, it makes it kind of hard. And I really want to just like watch it all. But
yeah,
bummer. But yeah, speaking of that, that's some games I'll be looking for at Midwest Gaming Classic this year. It's on my short list of things I want to find.
I might do the same because I've been having some hankering for some Lotus War.
Oh shit! Now we're competition.
Yeah,
guess we're not game hunting together until after we both secure our copies and we can be friends again.
All right.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, speaking of hype, here's something that almost I don't know anybody is hyped about. But yeah, they're bringing back those Tiger handhelds from the 80s.
Nobody's hyped, and a lot of people are going to buy them. It's like, what sense does this make?
Yeah, I don't.
You are.
I don't get it. I'm gonna buy at least one just for collector's sake, is because they're bringing 4 titles. They're not bringing the entire line. They're not gonna start making new ones or anything. As far as
I thought these were new ones.
They're $14.99, and they're bringing back Marvel, X-Men Project X, The Little Mermaid, Transformers Generation 2, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Being a Transformers fan, I'll probably grab the Transformers one, and that's about it.
Yeah,
$15. It's not like they're crazy pricey. They're not really banking on the nostalgia, so I also don't get why they're bothering. Like,
I mean, they were. I mean, I had a couple of them. I had a Mega Man one. I had a football one, and I think I had another one. I can't remember exactly, but even back then, as a kid, like I played it. Like on if we went like on a road trip, I'd bring it along because I didn't have like a Game Boy or anything at the time.
Yeah.
Or I'd just sit around at home and be like, oh, I'm gonna play this for 5 minutes, and it's. I mean, they're. I assume everybody listening knows what a Tiger handheld is. They were honestly junk.
Little LCD screen with a It was basically like all the stuff was already on the screen, and if you looked at it at a certain angle, you could see all the little things.
Yeah,
and it was basically just like go back and forth on the screen, and stuff would come at you.
I mean, they had a purpose.
Or it would scroll a little bit. They
were kind of like little.
It's
like
for poor kids.
Simple.
Poor kids. And
hey, I was
kids without, and I was a kid without.
Yeah, same.
So I had a couple. I don't even know if mine were exactly Tiger handhelds. Even mine.
I think mine were new either. I think mine came from like the Goodwill or something.
Yeah, I had a Tetris one. I had a generic like space one that I actually really liked, but it was literally you go back and forth and have to blast things that were coming towards. It was basically like Space Invaders or something. But I really liked that one, and it was a really generic one, but it looked like a Tiger handheld. And even later on, when the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, I think it was Spider-Man 3 even, someone got me a 2-pack of like little like Tiger handheld style Spider-Man games, and I was like, all right, well, I collect Spider-Man stuff, but I don't know if I ever turned them on, aside from them being in a drawer, and I heard them turn on a couple times, and I turned them directly off. So yeah, that was kind of a pointless thing. I still appreciate that someone thought of me to get them, but yeah,
sure.
I mean, that was I had video games at that time.
Yeah.
So
I remember I had a friend. It was around the time when Tiger handhelds were a thing. He had. I'm assuming they were the Game & Watches. It was a Game & Watch or something, but it was like a watch, the size of a watch, and it had like this little Super Mario game on it that was like. Oh, yeah. You jumped up a few platforms and like that was it or something. It was like super, super basic. But yeah. I thought that was like the coolest thing. But of course, I didn't have it. So that's why
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't have that. Oh, it's video games.
I'm pretty sure there was like Mario, a Donkey Kong one, a Zelda one, and I don't think a Castlevania one. But yeah, they were Tetris, I think, was the other one. But yeah, they were cool for what they were, but they were something that I don't think I have heard anyone really missing.
Yeah, I know a few people that
like to come back. Like I know some people pick them up and they're like,
yeah,
I found like there's some that I wouldn't mind just having to have in
Yeah.
the collection, like the Castlevania ones,
the Mega Man one.
like that. There was the do you remember the Konami ones that were kind of like longer? They
Yeah,
had, like,
yeah,
a Turtles one,
Ninja Turtles. Yep.
I played more of those. I remember in grade 3, my teacher for some reason had those in the classroom. The
Nice.
Turtles one and the Contra one, and I just had them by my desk all the time. Like I basically at school stole them. Like they were just either like right by my desk or in my desk, but I never like brought them home or anything, and I left them there. But like for all intents and purposes, like no one else got to play those because I was like, I don't have a Nintendo. This is the coolest shit. And, yeah, that teacher hated me and actually put me in put a refrigerator box around my desk to like corral me so I couldn't talk to anyone. Like I wasn't even that bad of a kid.
That's hilarious.
So that gave me more time to play Ninja Turtles and Contra. So
that's funny because we've actually never really talked about like childhood experiences like that necessarily. And actually, when I was in like, I had to repeat kindergarten because I was such a little dickhead, and like essentially every day, my dad came to pick me up from school. He just went to the principal's office, and I had essentially, it was one of those big desks, and I would stay under the principal's desk, and that was like my spot because I was always in trouble.
Yeah, like my mom actually had to go down there and like fucking raise hell and like, why is he in a box? It was pretty sweet actually. Like my mom was more mad about it than I was. I was like, oh, it sucks.
Yeah, sure.
I cut a slot in the side, and all the kids, like my friends and stuff, would like draw me Ninja Turtle pictures to make me feel better and put them through the slot. And grade 3, so that was about the time. And I'm like, right on.
Yeah,
so, like the inside of it was just like posters. It was like I had a small bedroom at school. It was pretty badass, actually.
Right on.
So she went and raised hell, and they took the box. It was literally a refrigerator box, and like took it out. But then she put me in a study curl.
Everything makes sense now.
It's the study curl, so it's basically a desk with walls anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's whatever. That was significantly less fun because then you could see me playing the games, but whatever. Yeah, so I got in more trouble having that thing around my desk than not having that thing around my desk. So she more created me being a bad kid than me being a bad kid used to. So kudos to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not really stoked on those coming back. But if I'm not even gonna go out of my way and like order one, but if I like see the Transformers one, I'd snag it.
They're gonna
sell. It's one of those things like Amiibos, or even the ones I want. I'm like, I don't want them enough to pre-order them.
I pre-order the ones I want.
I'll see, I'll see them and I'll get them. And I've had pretty good luck at getting all the ones I want, except for the ones I had to order, the Amazon ones. Like I have every Zelda one except for, even when I got one of those from a local Facebook ad randomly, so I'm only missing like 2 of the Zelda ones overall now. But it's kind of a bummer, but whatever.
Yeah,
I'm also not willing to pay like $1 more than they are at retail either, so like, or I'd have them already. It's just one of those things. I'm a collector, but I'm a cheap collector.
Sure.
And sometimes even too lazy to order a collector, so it's whatever.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
Probably for the best.
Keeps me. I still spend lots, but I just spend lots and get more.
Yeah.
So that's the way I like it. Like I get more games than spending, like $500 on a game. I just spend $500 on several games. Or, in the case of like the next few months with the collector's editions, like $500 in like 3 games. Whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so what else? We got another
Yeah.
announcement.
Yeah, Yacht Club announced the next Shovel Knight game, and it's like a roguelike dungeon puzzler, and it's called Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. It actually looks okay. It's probably not what a lot of Shovel Knight fans were hoping for.
Yeah,
it's not like they're calling it Shovel Knight 2 or anything,
yeah,
but
and
it's
this is additional to the other like Shovel Knight spin-off game. Is it Shovel Knight Dig? Was that what it was called?
yeah. So,
Which is kind of another like arcadey kind of twist game. So very different. But
I think they're just putting out these ones to like hold you over while they work on Shovel Knight 2. That's what I kind of see it as. Like it just seems like they're like, hey, Shovel Knight's staying relevant while we work on actual Shovel Knight 2.
Are they gonna go 3D for the next one? Is it gonna be a 3D platformer like Mario 64?
Shovzy 3D, they'll call it.
Oh, I mean, I do have Bubsy 3D in my collection, so I would get Shovzy 3D too.
we got to tweet them that suggests that be their next foray into the Shovel Knight universe.
Just block us on Twitter.
They'll throw their weight around and trying to get us kicked off Twitter.
Yeah, canceled.
Yeah, cancel culture. Canceled from the gaming community.
Yeah,
we'll see. It was a good run. Speaking of GGs, what about that project GG?
Yeah, so pretty interesting that we just, and I don't think we talked about, did we talk about the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter?
I think we did.
Did we mention that?
If not on the podcast, we talked about it to each other, but I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah, so there's just the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter that they're like trying to do HD remaster for like
PS4 to the Wii U game. I mean, how much do they have to remaster it? Really, it's a cartoony game. It wasn't super.
Which is weird because their initial goal is only like 50,000, which seems bizarre, but it's got like.
Well, I mean, it's like it's already made. They're just literally porting it.
Yeah.
It's Hideki Kamiya's third game in what he's calling a superhero trilogy. He previously worked on, obviously, Wonderful 101, but also the Beautiful Joe games. And yeah, they're calling it the third one in his superhero trilogy. This one looks more realistic than the previous two games. And it looks pretty interesting. They really just showed a teaser trailer, but it looked like a human-sized person that can morph into a giant mech. It really only showed kind of a silhouette, a little bit more than a silhouette of a person, and it actually kind of looked like Ultraman.
Yeah, I thought it was more like Ultraman, less like a Super Sentai.
Yeah, although everything I've seen is saying it's a mech, but I'm like, yeah, it looks more like. Yeah, it looks more like a Ultraman thing.
Yeah, and then fights like a big monster.
Hell yeah! So fighting big monsters is pretty cool usually in games. So it's
actually never played any of those games, Beautiful Joe or Wonderful 101.
I only have Beautiful Joe 2 and Wonderful 101, but Wonderful 101 was pretty cool from what I played, and Beautiful Joe, honestly, I had not really much. I've always heard it's an awesome game, but I've never had any like super inkling to play it. And I'm not going to start on the second one. I probably would check them out if I had the first one, but like I said, don't really go out of my way.
Maybe you got to pick up the first one, MGC.
Hey, my birthday's coming up, so why don't you do it?
Wait, your birthday's coming up.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not dying, so at some point I'm gonna have another birthday.
That's true.
You can not.
Birthday's coming up. It's only like 9 months away, but
yeah, it's in November. But it's coming up.
True.
I don't plan on dying before it's coming up. Yeah, on November 7th, my birthday is officially coming up again. So I can plan it for whatever. I like to give people a lot of time to ample time to think about what they want to get me.
Yeah.
So yeah, Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. It's just not. It's like I'm pretty sure it's just like a beat 'em up, and I like beat 'em ups, so
Yeah,
check it out.
cool.
But yeah, this one looks cool too, and I'm keeping an eye on it. So here's hoping it's awesome.
Pro show.
Okay.
So I guess then we will jump into the community question.
Yeah.
Kind of weird putting it in the middle instead of the end.
It's not an afterthought this time.
Yeah. Well, not so much. Anyways, last week's community question was, what's your favorite gaming related animated movie or TV show, series, whatnot, as we were talking about Dragon Quest Your Story and The Witcher animated announcement.
Yeah, there's lots of cool shit coming out.
Yeah, and we got just one comment.
Come on, guys.
Come on. Yeah, so Black Metal Gamer said Street Fighter, the animated movie, and the Tekken movie I really liked for shows. I'm all about Castlevania and Captain N and Friends. Super Mario Super Show was great cheese.
Yeah, Captain N had Castlevania in it, but it was like unrecognizable Castlevania.
Hell yeah.
Wasn't the
Simon
Belmont
was
guy on there?
pretty
Wasn't he a pussy?
It's like a pretty boy.
Yeah.
Like a dainty boy.
Yeah, that was Captain N was one that I never saw as a kid. Like, I don't
It
know
was
if they do that.
it was the part of the Super Mario Super Show block for me anyways.
Yeah,
That's how
so they didn't keep that in Canada. It was just Super Mario Show with Zelda sometimes. But yeah, I know I would have watched it if not.
Yeah, I mean it was dumb. I knew that, I, as a kid who was playing those games at the time, like I knew the portrayals were all wrong, but I loved it. Like I was a sponge for anything video games back then. Like there was another years later, there was another cartoon, and I don't think I've actually ever looked it up. But I remember there was it was like other characters from different shows, like I think Bigfoot, like the monster truck, and then like a killer tomato or something. There was an Attack of the Killer Tomatoes show, but there's some other animated show. I need to look that up.
Yeah, shit. What are you doing, man?
I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but I know it's a thing. So maybe somebody knows what I'm talking about. I don't know.
No, I always liked the Zelda part of the Super Mario. The Super Mario part was fine, but I always looked forward to when there was a Zelda episode.
Absolutely. I mean, especially at the time, like Zelda 2 was like kind of the thing, and I love Zelda 2.
Yeah, not having a Nintendo and not that was my first experience with Zelda, and I thought it was so cool, and I had no idea that Link doesn't talk. So when Link doesn't talk in the games, it still feels a little weird to me, to be honest. Like, damn, yeah, he just makes sounds. I kind of wish he'd cock off to bad guys while I played the game.
Oh boy, smooching time.
Yeah, just be a big perv all the time. Yeah, just excuse me, princess. That was the coolest shit. But
yeah.
So I guess it didn't bug me that was a off character way for him to act, because I know the show itself was cool. Yeah. So I guess it was easy for me to separate.
Yeah,
but
I liked it.
Yeah, it was cool.
Hell yeah. I still haven't seen the Street Fighter movies. I have the second series, but I really, really need to watch those because, I mean, 90s anime is like top tier anime, and those were made incredibly well.
Yeah, those were,
and it's like my jam. For some reason, I just haven't gotten to them yet, which I keep beating myself up over.
It's the second time in like 2 minutes, I'd be like, "What are you doing, man?"
Yeah, right.
Actually, speaking of that, I recently picked that up at the local thrift store, the Street Fighter 2 movie. So it's cool. Yeah, I like most of the Street Fighter stuff. I even like the live action movie to an extent. I mean, it's kind of like the Captain N of Street Fighter, where it's like nothing like
They
the
screwed up
game.
everything.
But Raul Julia in that movie is fucking amazing, and that's his last role.
Yeah.
And he literally just made that movie because his kids were like, "Please make this movie."
Yeah.
And I think that's what I like. I like the rest of the movie doesn't even really, but him in that role just chewing the scenery. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, whatever, out of his mind in that movie anyway.
Right.
But yeah, it's a good laugh. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I'm just saying I enjoy it. It's like B movie cheese at its finest, I'd say. I definitely enjoy it more than like the Super Mario movie and stuff like that. But keeping it with
yeah, I screwed up. Actually, Do You Nerd did respond as well, and they said they still like the Zelda cartoon. It's so cheesy, sure, but it has some elements I always really enjoyed. Showing how Link and Zelda carry so much stuff and the music, plus playing up the idea of romance between Link and Zelda that was expanded upon in the Valiant comics is great, goofy fun. I actually forgot about those comics.
Yeah, it's been a while since I read them, but they were pretty good. I got the graphic novel of the complete Nintendo Power Zelda comics, and did I buy it? I think I got the Mario one of that too. I never read it. If I did though, ooh. Now what am I doing, man?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I really liked the Zelda cartoon, I liked how they incorporated the sounds from the games and stuff into it too, to make it like you were watching the game almost.
Yeah.
What your imagination was seeing when you were playing the 8-bit games.
Yeah.
Like they did the best in the Mario and the Zelda shows, I think. They tried harder, I think. But so answering the question, what would be your favorite or a couple of favorites?
Yeah, I know I believe I've talked about this multiple times. I did a collab video with Chris the Old S Retro Gamer on this once, but my favorite is Dead Space Downfall.
Oh yeah.
The neat thing about Dead Space Downfall was when the first Dead Space game was released, they kind of did this whole media campaign for the game that was actually legit cool, because along with the game, they did the movie, and they also did the animated comic or motion comic. If anybody is not familiar with those, it's a really cool style of presenting comic books to people, where basically they'll take your panel, like a comic book panel, and they'll like do a technique where they add like minimal motion to it to try to kind of make it like an animated comic. And it's really neat. And what was cool about that was Dead Space takes place after everything went to shit, and you're showing up in the after the aftermath of everything that happened on the Ishimura and the planet that it was mining. And then Dead Space Downfall is everything that happened like at the planet and then on the Ishimura. And then the motion comic was like the very beginning of what everything happened. So it was just these neat different glimpses into the Dead Space backstory, which I think is personally, I think it's sweet. Like Dead Space is like one of my favorite games ever.
Yeah, it's an amazing game. A lot of games actually do the motion comic style thing, especially something that's more like when it's telling a legend or something like a God of War. They'll often like the motion comic style to like do the flashback where it's almost like they're showing you like a scroll or a painting.
Yep.
And I think
that did it
really well. Yeah.
With Peace Walker and even, well, no motion, but comic book style, like Gravity Rush did kind of like comic book style sort of for dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a little bit.
Not the same, I guess, but yeah. And it's not like the best animation in the world. It's very like late 90s, early 2000s, kind of like more like your serious cartoons, kind of like almost I'd say a little maybe comparable to like basically like Batman the animated series or like Superman What was that? Superman Adventures? I can't remember what the Superman cartoon was called now.
Yeah, the new Superman Adventures.
Yeah,
Adventures of Superman. Yeah,
in that style, typical kind of like more serious American cartoon.
yeah.
Which, I'm not hating. Some people might not be much into it, but it's more the story for me personally. So,
Did you just suggest I don't like Batman the Animated Series?
not you.
I'm just kidding.
I hope.
Just take it as a fucking challenge.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah,
Premium.
Yeah,
Premium.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that we don't get a lot of the animated stuff over here because Japan, like so many awesome ones that we sometimes don't even find out about until like years.
Cartoons are for kids, man.
Yeah,
cartoons are for kids. That's American mindset.
Did you ever watch the Dragon Age animated one?
Yes.
Dawn of the Seeker.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty good too.
Yeah, I thought it was decent. Gives a little backstory to Cassandra.
Did that, and also I think the same people that made Dead Space, I believe, did the Dante's Inferno animated one too, didn't they?
I haven't seen that yet because I've intended for years now to play the game. I've had the game for years, and it's just backlogged.
Oh, I've got a game for you. If that's in your backlog and you want to play it sooner rather than later. It's I love the game. I actually I've talked about it before how my wife was the manager of Movie Gallery, the last manager for the Movie Gallery locally before the company went under. It's basically her fault that the company's out of business.
Ouch.
And I don't get free games anymore.
And she doesn't listen to the podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, so when she worked there, we lived right behind it, and I'd get to rent games all the time. So even in the middle of the night, I'd be like, beat the game. If she was up, I'd be like, well, not in the middle of the night, maybe like shortly after close, I'd be like, can we go get another game? Because I was, total night owl, up all night playing games most of the time, and just pop across the alley, get another game, come back. And Dante's Inferno showed up about a week and a half, 2 weeks before it came out, and so I got to play the shit out of it before it came out, and that was one of the main games I remember doing that with. That and Brutal Legend being the main ones I really got to play a lot of. I think it came out the same weekend as BioShock 2. I don't know. Some game came out at the same time as BioShock 2, and I shunned BioShock 2 to play it instead. But anyway, yeah, I loved that game, and then the movie came out not too long after the game, so I definitely recommend checking that one out. That one might be one of my favorites. Obviously,
what would you say is your favorite animated game movie?
I really like the Final Fantasy ones.
Which ones?
I don't think there's one I don't like, but I really enjoyed the Kingsglaive one that ties into Final Fantasy 15.
I haven't seen that one.
The original movie.
Spirits Within?
Cool. Yeah, Spirits Within.
The original Final Fantasy would be Legend of the Crystals. That was the first Final Fantasy.
What's the other one? I don't remember.
Well, it was,
they kind of bleed together.
In release order, it was the anime short series Final Fantasy Legend of the Crystals, and then Spirits Within, and then they went back to anime and did Final Fantasy Unlimited, which I never.
Advent Children is the one I liked the most.
Then Advent Children, which I think is awesome. For some reason, I hear people talk poorly about it all the time, which I don't understand, because it was great and the animation was awesome.
I like Advent Children, and I just couldn't think of the name. Advent Children and Kingsglaive I like a lot. Obviously the just spectacular animation. They never skimp on that kind of stuff. But
yeah, if I ever get to playing 15, I'll definitely watch Kingsglaive, but
it made me really want to.
Yeah. But did you?
No, I started it and then I didn't. Something else came up. But as far as like lighter-hearted stuff, Ratchet and Clank I actually enjoyed a lot too. And I never really seemed to hear anyone talk about it. It flopped pretty hard,
Yeah.
but I thought it was good.
I mean, it's
And-
unless you get a good like, I don't know, like most people see video game adaptations and they're just gonna be like, nope, that's gonna be garbage because
Oh, I liked it a lot. The kids liked it. And speaking of having kids, even some movies based on games that I could not give less of a shit about, I enjoy the movies. Like the Angry Birds movie, I thought it was hilarious, but I could not give less of a shit about Angry Birds. So I felt like I had to go to that. Like my kids really wanted to go, and I was like, ugh.
I probably
will
will.
go. And I actually really enjoyed it. And like I don't care about Pokemon at all. I really enjoyed Detective Pikachu, like we discussed when I saw it. And I went to a movie last weekend actually that I really enjoyed. That was not animated, but it was video game related. That being Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, most people are saying good things about it.
I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait they've left it open for a sequel, and I cannot wait for that. Jim Carrey nailed his performance as Dr. Robotnik. It's classic Jim Carrey. It was like a return to form for him, so that was cool to see. Yeah, it's, the story's not too complex. It was obviously aimed at a younger audience, and I felt the need after, all the complaining and them spending all the money to reanimate it properly to go see it. And yeah, the whole family enjoyed it. My wife, least of all, I think. She actually thought some of the animation was cheap looking. I didn't notice, but yeah, that's what she said. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, but yeah, so it's easy to think of the crappy video game movies when there's there actually is a decent amount of good ones.
Yeah, totally. So we need a community question for next week.
It's on you, buddy.
I think I came up with last week's.
Nah, we both did.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Well,
I always struggle with community questions.
Yeah, we'll get it. You said we get it when we get there, but neither of us thought of one.
Well, we're there.
Yeah, we're there now. Boom, dropped the ball hard.
Yeah. I mean, we usually can wing something, but
yeah, we usually kind of work it into our conversations, but I don't know. Is there anyone?
all right. Well, we're gonna keep this.
We haven't had that.
Relative, I guess.
Yeah.
Keep it relative, and we're gonna make it weeb. What are your favorite gaming anime adaptations? Not games made based off of animes, but animes made based after games. Now we're talking strictly anime. So Japan, nothing, no American stuff.
Boom.
Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
All right.
Some good stuff out there, that's for sure.
You winged it. Good job. GG's. All right.
Well,
now that we've gone through our community question, our retro game highlight, our news. I need to know. Suspense is killing me. What have you been up to? What is up?
Been up to? So yeah, it's been 3 weeks since our last episode, so some things have been going on. As I'd mentioned last time, I was working on the games I finished in 2019 part 2 video, which is basically the second half of 2019, 29 mini game reviews. I finally got that video out.
I loved it.
Holy crap, was both of those videos like painstaking to make. Like I put so much time into making those. I hope people enjoy them. I know the second one was long. Part 2 ended up being like 40 minutes.
Yeah, so are you going to forgo that and just do quick mini reviews of games as you beat them going forward?
See. Right now is when I need to start doing that, so we'll see what happens.
Boom. I know it's February and almost March, but you could make a resolution for this year if you late if you want.
There already been a few games that wouldn't get covered, but we'll see what happens. But besides that video, I also did a kind of like not surprise for viewers, but more surprise for me. Telltale's The Walking Dead Guardian Pack unboxing, which was a collector's edition that Skybound put out for Telltale's The Walking Dead. I pre-ordered it like a year ago. It got multiple delays, finally came to me, did a video for it, and then found out after I did the video, thanks to people who watched and commented, that they're actually going to be sending all the people who got the Telltale's Walking Dead collector's editions, they're going to send us another statue sometime this year. I don't know if it's going to be the same statue, but better.
Dibs old statue then if you get a different one.
But
so don't ship that. That'll be like $40 to ship.
Yeah,
that shit's massive.
So initially when they did this collector's edition, the first batch they got like wasn't up to snuff at all, and they're like, yeah, this is bad, we're not going to send this out to people, so we're going to have to delay it. So they delayed it months, and then finally shipped out what we got. What we got looks pretty good. I would say pretty good. It could be better. Like Clementine looks pretty close, and so does Lee, but they could have done better, and I think that's what's going on, and they're gonna do a better version. I hope it's I hope it's the same or something. But I hope they'll send us like some random like an AJ statue, which I mean I like AJ as the character, but I wanted Lee and Clementine and to look really good, especially for what I paid for this collector's edition. It was a pricey one.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're going to send us another statue, so that's pretty neat.
That is pretty cool. But yeah, dibs.
Yeah.
Dibs broken. You can have the new hotness. I don't care.
And then I'd mentioned I was playing Bloodborne, replaying Bloodborne, as Bloodborne is the Cartridge Club Game of the Month for February. I'd played it a couple years ago, the beginning of 2018. Loved it again. I mean, it's Bloodborne. It's an amazing game. And as I was playing through, I was debating if I wanted to actually try to go for the platinum, because really I was just replaying the game to kind of refresh myself for the Game of the Month podcast, which I will be hosting. Hopefully shortly after this episode is posted, that episode comes available. So check it out. No, not yet. Tomorrow at the time of recording this, I'll be recording that episode.
We're recording for the future.
Yes. But yeah, so I played through Bloodborne. I didn't play through the Old Hunters DLC this time, just for the sake of time, and because I decided to say screw it, going for the platinum. Took a few extra hours, but I had a lot of fun doing it because part of it requires you to go into some what they call chalice dungeons, which I thought were just really just kind of like extra dungeons you could just play through more and get like some better stuff, but not really anything that pertained to the story at all. But actually it kind of does in a few different ways. And actually had a lot of fun playing through the chalice dungeons. Surprisingly, it was way quicker to summon people to help and participate in the chalice dungeons than actually playing through the game. So I get the impression that everybody's just grinding chalice dungeons now because there's all these different modifiers you can do to make them harder and whatnot.
Okay.
But
I thought you were just like one-hitting everything.
Well, when I started when I replayed Bloodborne this time, I did New Game Plus because I finished the game last time. At first, yeah, everything was like a breeze. And then like the difficulty like did shoot up pretty quickly. I I would say it was easier in New Game Plus than it was the first time I played through, like significantly easier to some regard, but it's still like if you screw around and you play sloppy, you're going to get your ass beat because that's the nature of these games.
Well, that's what you get when you're screwing around.
But yeah, I had a ton of fun. Love the game again. I did get the platinum. Pretty proud of that.
Sweet. Yeah, you don't go for those generally.
Yeah, and From Software games are, there's some work. You got to put some work into it.
Some of them, they have like notoriously convoluted ways to get the. I think I saw something on Sekiro just being ridiculous.
Probably. That game was ridiculous anyways.
Yeah.
But now I have started playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which is the Quick Save Club game of the month for February. I'm a little bit behind, but this is a game I've wanted to play for years.
You're super behind because the
month's
you've only got like 4 days from recording this to beat that and Zelda Link Between Worlds. Holy shit,
right.
You calling in sick to work or what?
Yeah. I unfortunately I think I will probably be missing Link Between Worlds. I'm really enjoying Vampire, so I think I'll probably crank through it pretty quick.
Yeah, I've always wanted to check that out. It seems pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great so far. It's very, at least so far what I've been playing, it's very like story focused, like minimal. I've done a few combat things, but it's mostly like walking around and talking to people and doing quests, fetch quests kind of stuff. But I'm really enjoying the characters. It in some ways it kind of reminds me of Fallout with like just interacting and like quests and dialogue choices.
Yeah, I've watched a lot on it. Like if I was ever to start playing PC games, that would be like in the top 5 of ones I'd play right away, for sure. Because it's been a long time I've wanted to play that.
Yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with that. I'm gonna be cranking through that, and then not that probably anybody cares, but I built a new PC that I'm very happy with, very proud of.
I care a whole damn lot.
Yeah, so it's I've said this before. I've always considered myself more of like a PC gamer, even though I'm not playing a lot of PC games these days.
I think you're a pretty crappy gamer. I think you're all right.
Yeah, shut up. So yeah, I've been building computers now for almost 20 years. It's been a handful that I built for myself. My last computer I actually built 8 years ago, which is the longest I've gone without building a new PC. I built a beast of a computer. It still can basically play most new AAA games like pretty well, but now some of the graphic settings have to be adjusted to get like 60 FPS. So I felt it was time, built myself a beast. I went with a Ryzen 7, which is an awesome 6-core CPU. The Ryzens are basically killing Intel chips right now. They're so good. Got a GeForce RTX 2070, which is a monster of a graphics card. When RGB, I've always done lights and stuff before. I've shared pictures online. I used to have a custom self-built water cooling system. I went with like an all-in-one cooler this time. I'll be posting some pictures here soon. I was just kind of working out some layout stuff and color things.
Sweet. What are you gonna do with the old one? Are you gonna sell it or?
So basically my friends and I, including my family, kind of have like what I call basically trickle down economics when it comes to PC parts and whatnot. And usually it kind of goes down the chain. One of my friends typically is a little bit more frequent with his upgrades. So then it will like trickle to me, and then it'll trickle to my brother or a friend, and then to my parents. So everybody has good computers now. So it's going to my parents. And I think they will, even though they're not gamers, it's still a fast computer and they will enjoy that. So
good.
Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. What have you been up to? You've been busy too.
Yeah, kind of a lot. Not not so much gaming in the last little bit, but playing what I can. I got a new project and everything on the go. As I mentioned, I went and saw the Sonic movie, so that was cool. But I also played some games. I beat, Bullet Soul Infinite Burst. I feel like we talked about this in the last one, but if we didn't, it was a shmup game, and I thought Infinite Burst was like a sequel, but it's more like a sort of like what Street Fighter does with Ultra, Turbo, this and that, where it's basically the same game with a couple different modes or whatever. This was the exact same game with a couple different modes, which was kind of a bummer because I really enjoyed the first Bullet Soul when I played it. I played it through with all characters. I still did the same with the other one because, I paid for it. Both very enjoyable games, but Infinite Burst could have just been a DLC to the other one because that's how little they changed.
Sure.
But, I like my shmup games, so that was fun. I also love my beat 'em up games, and I beat Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds.
Yeah, Overdrive.
Nope.
You didn't get yours as an Overdrive?
Mine was on the 360, but I have since. You spoiled it, damn it. It was the original version that was available on 360 and I believe PS3. I picked it up forever ago, probably like 4 or 5 years ago. There was like I know it was like a sale. When I don't put my credit card on consoles because of addiction, so
good choice.
Yeah, I don't need that temptation, but I bought one of those money cards and I had a few bucks left over during a sale after what I bought, and I saw that I'm like, this looks cool. Snagged it, never touched it. Finally, it's backwards compatible. I noticed it on my Xbox One. I was like, yeah, I better play that. That looks cool. And it was very cool, and I felt bad that it took me so long to get to it. But excellent game. I enjoyed it so much that I ordered Phantom Breaker Battlegrounds Overdrive for the PS4.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh, damn it. It was a
limited run.
It was a limited run. It's going to be like twice the price now online. And I looked on Amazon and someone was selling it for basically the exact price it would have costed me to buy it from limited run and pay the shipping.
Yeah.
So I got it for a really decent price. And I was happy because I really liked it. And I was like, I'd like to have a physical version. So I'll probably be beating it again soon. It was a really cool beat 'em up with lanes. Like I said before, it was like it reminded me of the Power Rangers beat 'em up on Super Nintendo, where you could jump between the two lanes, like foreground, background, and fight. It wasn't just like a regular 3D beat 'em up where you could just like free roam. But it was a lot of fun. Reminded me a little bit of Scott Pilgrim. Also, by the way, when you kill enemies, they explode into gems and coins. But I liked it a lot. I
talked about it
in your part
last year, sometime on the podcast too. And it was on part 1 of my games I beat 2019.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that was the one I bought. Like I didn't realize, like I said, I bought it and forgot about it because it was like, I want to say like $2. I had $2 left in my wallet on Xbox and grabbed it and just forgot about it. And then even when you talked about it, it didn't really. It sounded familiar, but I thought, oh, it must have just been something I heard about. But then I just noticed it in with my stuff, and I was like, oh, cool. Added it to my queue because I was just setting up my old Xbox in the living room with the Kinect to play Just Dance with my daughter because for her birthday I got her the 2020 version. So I added a bunch of games I actually wanted to play, and that was one of them.
Nice.
I also beat the newest Call of Duty. It was very by the numbers and honestly kind of boring. I just felt like doing some army shooty guy stuff, and it didn't really even scratch that itch. It was super by the numbers. Yeah, I skip. I generally have most of them. I don't pay much, or sometimes not at all, anything for them when I get them. And this one was no different. I didn't buy it. Like I said, I hooked up my old Xbox and I do game share with my brother, and I've never updated it onto my One X. So it's only been on my old console this whole time, and I looked and I'm like, fuck, I'll try it out. I feel like I haven't done a shooter game for a bit. And yeah, it was very very forgettable. The general levels feel the same all the time. Like, oh, there's a sniper level, of course. There's a sneak around level, of course. You're in a helicopter or a drone and you take out guys in the dark level. There was it just feels the same every time. Sometimes the stories are actually pretty engaging. This one wasn't really. I don't feel like I'm ruining anything, but I was actually talking to another YouTuber, MC Murph, friend of ours, about it after I tweeted about it, and he's like, was it just me, or was there someone makes a sacrifice and no one cares, like they don't even mention the guy again? You're like, wow, pretty boring. So yeah, beat it. I got all the achievements except one, and I only played it for a few hours, and that's because I was playing it on veteran, but I was like kind of bored. And I just lowered the difficulty to get through it. And yeah, that's the only one I'm missing is the beat it on veteran. And there's also a add-on for Spec Ops missions that I could not give less of a shit about. And I guess that was the last game I beat, but the game I beat before that was Guilty Gear Judgment on PSP.
That's pretty random.
Yeah, it was very random. We'll speak on that a little bit in a minute, but yeah, it's a game that I picked up because our friend Chris, the old ass retro gamer, while doing his PSP collection video, mentioned that it's actually a beat 'em up. It's got two games in one. There's a Judgment itself is a beat 'em up, and then it's got a traditional Guilty Gear fighting game on it as well. But I was all like, whoa, beat 'em ups, that's my jam, and I like the Guilty Gear games as they are anyway. So I snagged it because it was really cheap, but I didn't think I'd get to it as quickly as I did. And
yeah, I have that game too.
You do?
I do.
Sweet. You can play 2-player wirelessly.
Only Guilty Gear, or what's the company? Arcsoft? Is it Arcsoft?
Yeah,
yeah, something Arc something. That's the only one of their games I have, because they also have the Grand Blue. No, what's it?
Blast Blue.
Blast Blue. Yes, thank you. That series.
Yeah, those games are cool too.
Yeah,
I don't have a lot of them, but I have probably 4 Guilty Gear games now, and I like them. Blast Blue is pretty cool too. I don't know if I think I only have one, maybe one for the 360, maybe not even that. But yeah, there's something I like the animated stylings of their fighting games, and their Guilty Gear especially is pretty over the top with their characters. So never a dull moment. Yeah, so I decided to play that because as far as my channel goes, there's actually some new content. Chris, the old ass retro gamer, and I have started a podcast, a video podcast called the Super Enabler Bros, and we just debuted our first episode last week, and so far I think I like it. I like it's a different style from this, so it's not taking anything away from this one. I'm not going anywhere. I just got 2 shows on the go, and I felt like I can't seem to get content up in a regular fashion, but I seem to be able to podcast pretty easily and consistently. So I figured, hey, why not do a different style podcast that is primarily gaming, but we also talk about movies, TV shows, and just other hobbies in general. But yeah, primarily gaming still, but talk about whatever. It's just kind of like a hangout, laid back podcast. But we introduced a game that I feel could help a lot of people. It's not the most super original idea ever, but I like the spin we put on it. Literally, we call it backlog roulette, and I bought a roulette wheel, and we make a list of 38 games in our backlog that we want to play at some point. Keep saying, "Oh yeah, I got to play this at some point," because especially being collectors, I find a lot of the time I have enough trouble keeping up with the new games coming out, let alone the old games that I pick up like I'm playing them all the time. And I felt the need to do something about it. And Backlog Roulette is helping out right now. So,
Nice.
yeah, we make from 1 to 36 and 0 and 00. And I picked anything from last gen and back. Couple games of system. A couple games that I've wanted to play for some reason haven't gotten to. And yeah, that was my that was what the number rolled on for me, was Guilty Gear Judgment. So far I'm liking it. It was a pretty short game. I was thinking of just playing a couple other older games in the meantime until the next episode. But yeah, so far it seems like it's going to be a cool way to play random games in the backlog. I put, kind of more obscure games that I might not just go, hey, looking around at the wall, check that out. So, yeah, if you want to play along, make yourself a list of 38 games for the next episode and see what number comes up.
Nice.
Maybe you'll play Guilty Gear Judgment next.
Maybe.
But yeah, I hope to hear some feedback if anyone else is participating in it. And I think it's a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it gives me an excuse, because I find the convenience of the new systems also and trying to keep up with all these games that I'm buying and are forever coming out in droves. I feel like it's a good excuse to say, fuck off to this shit for a bit and play some Super Nintendo or play some PSP, play a Wii game, or So it's it's coming as much as I want to. I intend to. Never seems to happen because I'm like, oh shit, I need to get through this game. The only retro stuff I'd played, lately was more just on my arcade stick, and I was like, I want to branch out in these physical games.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, I guess since we're talking about backlogs, we can talk about increasing our backlogs.
Always.
With some upcoming games.
So many upcoming games.
Picking up old games, picking up new games.
Gots to.
Need more games.
I'm trying not to, because I'm like 35 games, I think now, or maybe less, 34 games or something.
Trying is the key word here.
Away from 4,000 games, and I want 4,000 games to be a milestone I hit at MGC this year. So here's something that I can actually withhold finding a bundle deal or some shit.
Yeah.
I'm not very successful all the time. I'm successfully unsuccessful on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, since we delayed a week, we're going to just go back a week real quick.
Mm-hmm.
A couple shout outs to the Double Dragon and Kunio-kun Retro Brawler bundle that was released. I would like that to get a physical version.
Yeah, I've been keeping an eye. I didn't even think they were going to bring it over here. Mm-hmm. I've actually been keeping an eye on it on Amazon for a while. I almost pulled the trigger on it, but it was like $50, and I was like, yeah, maybe. But since they announced this, now I'm holding out for a physical version of that. If not, I'll end up ordering it because I got to hold that.
I'm pretty confident this will get a physical version.
Yeah, I'm hoping
eventually. Limited run, we'll pick it up.
I'm hoping it's not a limited run, but if that must be,
probably will be, because they did Double Dragon 4 and they did River City Melee and River City Girls.
Yeah, I figured they probably would, but I'm hoping it's like more of I guess it's kind of a niche type game or something, but still, I'd like to see it get a wide release.
One game probably not too many people are interested in, but I've been hearing really good things. And that's actually a new genre of games called auto battlers, which were sort of inspired by MOBAs. And Valve put out their auto battler based on Dota 2 called Dota Underlords. I haven't really heard much about it, but like I said, I've been hearing really good things. A lot of people are really getting into auto battlers. There's like a League of Legends one, and yeah, it's a thing. Hey, if you're interested. Then we also had the release that you picked up, the Mega Man Zero and ZX Legacy collection.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I don't own any of those games. I own a lot of Mega Man games, but I own absolutely zero of the Zero games. So it's cool to pick up. I'm already a fan of those collection games. I have all the Mega Man ones they've put out on PS4 now. And I'm happy to add those because I own, like I said, zero of those. And there's I think 6 games on it. So here's more Mega Man. I want to try that immediately.
Yeah, it looks pretty rad.
Also, Dreams just came out.
Yeah.
Game development game. I'm seeing some amazing shit.
I would recommend people check out Video Game Donkey's new video on Dreams. It is hilarious. The Video Game Donkey is funny.
I showed my my daughter Araya it and a little bit of stuff on it, and she thinks it's amazing, so she wants to play it together with me. I've seen just some amazing stuff already. People recreating classic and popular game stuff out. Like someone made PT in its entirety. Someone got tired of waiting for Ghost of Tsushima to come out and pretty much made what's in the trailer. Just spectacular. And
Metal Gear Solid, Mario 64.
I'm actually worried about this game. If I play it, I might just not play another game for a while if I get into it. I mean, that's only a good thing for this game, but really shitty as far as my backlog goes.
Yeah.
And amazing games that are coming out in the next little while, especially. So happy I picked it up. I don't know what I'm going to do if I start playing it, but is what it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Then there's a lot of ports coming out right now.
Yeah.
Which a lot of them I'm not getting, which is great for me because I can use a break from picking up games, try to beat some more games. Although, actually, in 2 weeks, there's a game that I'm very excited about, but I haven't even played the first one still, which is actually the Cartridge Club Game of the Month for March. So Ori and the Will of the Wisps is coming out March 11th. Unfortunately, it's only Xbox and Windows, but fortunately, it's Windows, so I can get it.
Yeah.
Ori and the Blind Forest is Cartridge Club's Game of the Month for March, and I will definitely be playing along with that because that's a game I've wanted to play for years. I've only heard the best about it. It's a Metroidvania. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've had it for a while. I don't know if I have it. I'm pretty sure I do, though. But, yeah, just never got around to it. Like, goddamn backlogs.
Yeah.
It's a current gen backlog, even. And I'm just
first world problems, defined right there.
Yeah, why do I have to have a job?
Right?
It's the problem. The games aren't the problem.
It's the having responsibility.
Yeah. Don't ever blame the games.
Not worth it. Kids, don't grow up. Just don't do it. Just say screw it.
This next month is going to be amazing.
Yes.
A
lot of cool stuff coming out.
Even just before MGC, I've got a lot of stuff on pre-order that I just and then yeah, after MGC,
And spring is just insane.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm gonna. I somehow have to beat Resident Evil 3 remake in like a week before Final Fantasy 7 remake comes out. But
we'll see what happens.
For like 4 of those days, I'm like traveling, so
yeah.
3 or 4 of those days, I'm out of town. So unless I just lock myself up in a room at MGC after the convention closes and just play it at night, which I don't think is a good idea. Because I look forward to MGC all year.
Well, I mean, of course, looking forward to MGC coming up here. But what are you looking forward to and being up to? I screwed that up big time. What you got going on in the next couple weeks?
What
you gonna be playing?
I have no idea what I'm going to be playing, honestly.
What?
I don't even know. I think I want to revisit Doom before Doom Eternal comes out.
Rip and tear, buddy.
I keep installing it on Xboxes and then moving those Xboxes and using another Xbox. So it's on my One X. I'll plow through that again pretty quickly, hopefully. There's just so much stuff. Like I said, it's the busy time. I want to try the Mega Man. I want to try Dreams. So much shit.
Yeah.
Too much shit. Next week we will be recording the second episode of Super Enabler Bros. So I'll be doing that, and then I'll be playing whatever game off my list comes up on the roulette wheel. I like that. The list, I'm not changing it, except for whatever number comes up, I replace that game for the next episode. But yeah, at least that'll keep me playing different shit. But
nice.
Not even sure. It's all up in the air. There's just too many awesome options. But I'm sure I'll be playing more than I have been playing. That's for sure.
Cool.
What do you got going on?
Yeah, so of course, like I said, I'm playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, so that's primarily it. I have a feeling I will possibly be able to beat it in the next 2 weeks. So if I do, then like I said, I want to jump into Ori and the Blind Forest, because it'd be fun to play that and play along with the club. Then I'm not sure what. I got to get back to Yakuza 0, but we also got lots of stuff coming out. So
yeah, I don't want to really start a long game, but there's some long games I really want to play at the same time.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I play Dreams, it's just a wild card, and who knows if I'll play anything else.
For sure.
But you're like, oh, that game came out. I'm like, yeah, it looks really cool. I'll just make it. Just make it Dreams. Yeah. Not buy games anymore.
There you go.
Someone do a playthrough, and then I'll make the game myself and try it out. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also, of course, like I mentioned, I would love it if people check out the Cartridge Club CC Prime Bloodborne episode that should be up within. I think by the time everybody listens to this, it might be up. I'm not sure exactly, but it'd be great. And I would encourage everybody to check out the Cartridge Club. It's a lot of fun. It's a great community, a lot of fun people. You can go to cartridgeclub.org. There's a Cartridge Club Discord, which seems to be really the active spot. Otherwise, of course, Twitter is a great place to get involved with the Cartridge Club.
The coolest people.
They are awesome people, such a great community, and they pick a lot of really cool games to play. And
actually, the community picks the games, don't they?
Some of the games. Some of it's the main hosts, and the community, and then there's like also a Patreon selected game too. So yeah.
I gotta do a fuck you Amazon shout out too for canceling my Doom Eternal Collector's Edition.
Yeah, right. Bonk.
But thankfully my Christmas present for my wife finally showed up.
Yeah.
I got the Doom Eternal Doomslayer statue that I am absolutely in love with.
Nice.
It was only supposed to come out like 2 or 3 days after Christmas, but right after she ordered it, they pushed the release date back to just the other day. And what a bunch of awesomeness when it showed up.
For sure. Yeah, and I guess that can kind of connect. If you want to see the pictures of this awesome Doomslayer statue, maybe I'll let people know how they can get a hold of you.
Holy shit. That sounds
Well, first off, for the Game Tenants Podcast, you can listen to us on whatever you're listening to us on right now, but we are available on YouTube, SoundCloud, podcast apps, and Apple Podcasts. If you want to get a hold of Jason and check out his sick Doomslayer statue, you can go on Facebook and Twitter and check out the pictures. But definitely make sure you visit him on YouTube. Check out the Super Enabler Brothers. It's a good time.
Sweet. Well, I'm glad you have endorsed it as a good time.
Yeah,
I can't say either way because I have fun time making these, but I hope they're as fun to watch or listen to as they are to make.
Absolutely. And then if anybody wants to get a hold of me, you can look me up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as The Game Grinder, and you will find me.
Yes, you will.
So I think that's going to do it for this episode of the Game Tenants Podcast. I would be interested to hear your thoughts. What do you think about switching up the format, doing the news and community question earlier?
Yeah, well, it's going to take some time for us. We stumbled a little bit, but we'll get her.
Yeah, for sure.
Hard to old dogs learn new tricks. I mean,
yes,
we're stuck in our ways. So yeah,
it happens.
We'll iron this out.
Yeah, and definitely would love to hear your thoughts on the community question. What was your favorite gaming anime movies or TV shows, specifically anime, Japanese based ones? So yes, look us up, hit us up, let us know your thoughts, and then we will talk to you next time on the Game Tenants Podcast.
See ya later.
Bye.